Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
Saying the blessing of Hamapil, may one make an interval for eating, drinking, talking, or reading after the blessing is said? And why do some avoid saying the bracha? So we have a clear ruling recorded in the Shulchanaruch in the Ramah, chapter 239, halacha 1, that one may not eat, drink, or speak after reciting Kerias Shema Sheal Hamita, and explains the Mishnah Berurah in chapter 239, halacha 4, that this applies even if he didn't yet say the bracha of Hamapil. You just said Kerias Shema Hamita and you didn't reach Hamapil yet. You shouldn't make an interval for eating, drinking, or speaking, and certainly if you already said the bracha. Rather, continues the Ramah, one is to go immediately to sleep after the blessing of Hamapil is recited. And being that, as we stated from the Mishnah Berurah, we don't make a hefsek even after Kerias Shema, even though you didn't yet say Hamapil. Therefore, when a person's ready for bed, you should say Kerias Shema Sheal Hamita, go straight to Hamapil, and go to sleep. What's the reason behind this? The Ramah writes, based on the Kolbay, as the pasuk says, Yeinru bilvavchem al mishkavam. They state in their hearts on their bed, and then it concludes V'doy Mesela, which implies that you go to sleep, meaning that as soon as you finish your prayers, you go right to sleep. Now the question is asked, how severe is this requirement written in the Shulchan Aruch to go to sleep immediately after Hamapil and Kerias Shema, not to make a hefsek, an interval? Is it considered a bracha levatala, a blessing in vain, which is very severe, if I end up making an interval? What about a silent interval, like I'll stay in bed reading for 5-10 minutes until I drift asleep? Or does it have to be said literally when you're about to drift asleep in order to diminish the hefsek, the interval? So we find amongst the Rishonim and Poskim a major debate regarding how to understand the bracha of Hamapil and what type of bracha it is, what its purpose is for. Some understand the purpose of the blessing of Hamapil is similar to Birchas Hanenin, where you are blessing Hashem for a cup of water, you're thirsty, you want to drink, you say Shakol Niya B'dvorei. You're sleepy, you're tired, you need to rejuvenate and re-energize, you say the bracha of Hamapil. And just like you can't make conversation and intervals between a bracha and the eating of the food or drink, similarly before sleeping you can't make an interval between Hamapil and going to sleep. However, other Rishonim and Poskim learn that that's not the case. The bracha of Hamapil is not a birchas hanenin, a blessing for the benefit that you're about to receive from the sleep, but rather it's a birchas hashvach, it's a praise to Hashem similar to birchas hashachar, where we're praising Hashem for giving the ability of sleeping. And just like in birchas hashachar, we practically rule that you don't have to hear the tarnagul, the rooster, to say the bracha of Anoisen Lasech Vivina. So too, you don't have to sleep to say the bracha of Hamapil. At the very least, you don't have to sleep right away, and an interval is allowed. Who holds of each position? So of the first position, that it's considered birchas hanenin, one must literally go to sleep after the bracha of Hamapil, and it's usher to make a hefsek of eating, drinking, and talking, and if you do so, it's considered a bracha levatala. So holds the Seder Hayim, the famous student of the Arizal, in his known work. So rules the Siddur Beis Ovid, the Ben Ish Chai in Parshas Pakudei, halacha 12. So can also be implied from the Mishnah Berurah in 239.4 and Bir Halacha 239 Samuch. And it's possibly understood to be also the Shita of the Alter Rebbe in the Magen Avram in chapter 6, Halacha 8, who state that if you went to sleep, woke up, and then you plan on going back to sleep, and it's before Alais, you should say the bracha of Hamapil without a concluding blessing. Hence implying that it's like Birchas Hanenin, that has to be said before each pleasure of sleep. Due to this, there are people, due to this opinion, who do not say the bracha of Hamapil at all. As since it's forbidden to make any interval of eating, drinking, or speaking, and you may need to do so, so you're entering yourself into a suffix bracha levatala, and therefore they are makbid to never say the bracha of Hamapil. So rules the Siddur Beis Ovid, and so writes the Ben Ish Chai in the above source. He writes as follows, start quote, my custom and the custom of my forefathers, as well as many of Israel, is not to say the blessing of Hamapil with Hashem's name, lest we speak in between, and some place can rule that if one speaks it is a blessing in vain. To such an extent do they suspect for the above opinion. However, the vast majority of the Rishonim and Poskim completely negate this and hold of the second approach we mentioned, and say it's not considered a blessing in vain, if you speak or make an interval in between. And obviously there's no reason to abstain from saying the bracha due to such a worry that one may speak afterward. Who rules this way? So is the implication of the majority of the Rishonim, the Kolbai, in chapter 29, who writes that all Israel is accustomed not to eat and drink after Hamapil. The word accustomed and not the letter of the law or forbidden implies that it's actually not required. And it's simply a minhag, and not to the concept of a hefsek of an interval, which is halacha. So is likewise implied from the Leket Yeshiv, from the Baal Truma Sadeshin, and so rules explicitly the Knesset Hagdela in chapter 239 and the El Yerabah, the Machzis HaShekel, the Pri Megadim, the Chaya Adam, the Mokar Chaim, the V'chavis Yoyer, the Bir Hagra, the Shulav Rama Buchach, the Yefei Lelev. The Aruch HaShulchan in 239.6 writes, start quote, certainly it is not similar to the laws of Hefsek after other blessings, end quote. So rules also the Birchas Habayis, Yisayir's Tshuva, the Kaf HaChaim, and of today's poskim of Shlomo Zalman Auerbach and Alicha Shleima, the Ber Moshe, the Tzitz Eliezer, Ravad Yosef and Yechav, and other poskis Manenu. Practically being that this is Raiv Minyan V'Raiv Binyan of Paiskim, therefore certainly there's no room to suspect for the approach that you shouldn't say Hamapil because you may make an interval, and Hamapil should always be said regardless unless you have an explicit Kabbalah to follow the custom of the Ben Ish Chai. Nonetheless, as we stated initially, everyone agrees that initially it's forbidden to make a hefsek, to eat, drink, and talk, either due to the din or due to the minhag, as we explained. And therefore, lichatchila, it should all be said right before one goes to sleep. But before you go to sleep, make sure you drink enough, make sure you ate everything you needed to eat, make sure you talked to whoever you needed to talk to, make sure you daven ma'ariv, make sure you use the bathroom instead of shiyatza already, get everything out of the way so you don't need to make a hefsek. What remains, however, to be discussed, which we will do in a second daily halacha on this subject, is regarding if a silent hefsek may be made without saying anything or eating and drinking, just lying in your bed, as in the end of the day everyone does agree that initially you should not make a hefsek. And likewise, in a time of need, are we lenient like the second approach, to allow one even initially to eat or drink or talk in a time of need after saying Kerias Shema Sheal Hamita? What if someone forgot to daven ma'ariv or say Sfir Sa'im or use the bathroom, should he say Asher Yatzar, or forgot to do Kiddush Levana or heard thunder and lightning? In all these cases, what should he do? Emir Tzashem will cover all these other points in a second halacha.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.